Disney. You carried us through our collective childhoods with song and dance, and stories of princesses and anthropomorphic fox thieves, and never once did you ask for anything in return except our obedience, adoration, and heaps of cash. Still, fans will be fans, and so over the years, a massive yield of wacky, wild, and suspiciously believable theories have cropped up to explain every incongruity in the films. Get ready for things to get weird. Caution, spoilers.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
This first one is equal parts absolute banger and actually confirmed, and it's one you may already be aware of. Every Pixar movie takes place in the same universe. Pixar films are set within the same overall world, but take place during drastically different timelines. This is made clear by a host of Easter eggs and cross-references, and has been confirmed by the studio itself on more than one occasion. But still, it's cool, okay? It's just really cool. Lilo's parents were in the CIA. I know, this one sounds kind of wild, but bear with me. Dang, should I have saved that for a Jungle Book reference? So what's the evidence that Lilo and Nani's parents were spooks in suits? Cobra Bubbles. Cobra is an ex-CIA agent turned social worker specifically assigned to Lilo's case. Now, that's a bizarre career pivot, but consider. If Lilo and Nani's parents were CIA co-workers of Cobra's, it would help to explain why, after they died, Cobra worked to make sure Lilo and Nani were able to stay together. Something that's pretty uncommon when it comes to social services. Coincidence? Well, that's what the government wants you to think. This one is a bit of a stretch, but some folks out there are claiming that Anna and Elsa have an absolute hunk of a branch-bending, vine-riding brother in Tarzan. The theory here is that the princess's parents didn't die in the shipwreck, but instead washed ashore and had a son before being devoured. Okay, things are gonna get kinda dark for a second because this is apparently a favorite genre of theory. The everyone that matters was actually dead the whole time. Apparently, a lot of folks think that Finding Nemo is actually about Nemo's father going through the subconscious stages of grief in an imagined journey to accept the death of all of his children. Next up in the dead pool, Carl from Up. Yep, some people contend that crotchety old man Carl was actually as dead as his wife throughout all of Up, and that his portly Boy Scout companion is actually an angel trying to get their wings by guiding Carl's soul into the afterlife. Oof. Some of y'all just need to accept the upfront sadness of Pixar films and try not to make them even sadder. Moana is dead the whole time. This one kind of slaps, actually. The theory contends that Moana dies during the storm at the beginning of the movie, and spends the rest of the film performing a Campbellian hero's journey to return the heart of Te Fiti in order to be resurrected and returned to her tribe. This would make a fair amount of sense given that, after the storm, Moana no longer encounters any normal human beings, but instead semi-mythical or divine beings. It would also provide more evidence for the theory that Hei Hei is a dumb rooster, but also a demigod. The cockle-doodle-doodler not only survives a host of potentially fatal events, but also, in his own idiot way, helps out wherever he can. Next up, Ariel and Hercules might be cousins. Really, we should say Ariel and Hercules are just definitely cousins. Why? Well, the big three-post Titanic gods of the pantheon are all brothers. Hades, bureaucrat of the dead, Poseidon, who fishes for ladies, and Zeus, geriatric bodybuilder and lightning philanderer, are all related. Hercules is the son of Zeus. That's kind of his whole thing. So Poseidon is Hercules' uncle. But Poseidon also had a son by the name of Triton, who is Ariel's father. Sorry to cross over fic writers everywhere. The pair are cousins.
What? Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
Remember the opening scenes in Ratatouille where the rat colony is shown living in the attic of auteur cook and old lady Mabel? Based on the similarities between the shots of her home and the food-induced flashback undergone by Anton Ego that shows a similar looking home in his childhood, it looks like Mabel might just be the mother of the tight-laced and meticulous food critic. This would also explain why Remy's Ratatouille has such an outsized effect on Anton. If Remy learned it by watching watching Mabel cook it, he ends up using a recipe that is identical to how Mama used to make it. The cars in Cars have different accents, but it has been a long time source of fan confusion as to why their accents differ. Well, what started as a fan theory though, was revealed to be the truth when director Jay Ward explained that each car has a different accent because each car imprinted and took on the characteristics of its last passenger. This would be messed up enough without Ward's follow-up claim that the cars themselves are also responsible for getting rid of all the humans. This begs a lot of questions. Did the cars kill the people, or did they just absorb them or rapture away their drivers to some alternate dimension? Because if the cars absorbed the souls of their final drivers and also killed every human in a giant conflict, then every Cars movie is about watching possessed war criminals speaking in the literal voices of their fallen enemies. Bing Bong from Inside Out is a Monsters, Inc. monster. This one is pretty straightforward. In the movie itself, it's stated that Bing Bong is Riley's imaginary friend who always makes her laugh. At the end of Monsters, Inc., the resource economy of monster kind transitioned from being fear-based to the laughter standard. Therefore, it is so unreasonable to think that Bing Bong was not an imaginary anything, but simply an employee of Monsters Incorporated. An uncomfy conundrum. Humanity is trapped on a spaceship for longer than intended. There are no significant sources of plant or animal life visible on board except for the people, who have become bloated as whales. Given that the death rate over time would be high, the available nutrients low, and that something must be done with the ever-rising quantity of corpses, there's like a 90% chance that the remaining human population in Wall-E is surviving off of Soylent Green. Tale as old as time. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy, but boy and entire household staff have been cursed to become monsters and or uncomfortably attractive feather dusters. Curses reversed, girl and boy get hitched, have kids, live happily ever after. Generations later, descendants of the couple fall in love with Tarzan. Yep, Jane is probably a descendant of Belle and the Beast. What's the proof? Aside from their faces, there's the presence of this tea set. It's unlikely the set is something Jane just happened across at any old antique store. More likely that it's been lovingly cared for generations because it's a family heirloom. There are a host of fan theories about Aladdin, with Robin Williams' show-stealing Genie at the center of most of them. One contends that the whole movie is just the actualization of Aladdin's first wish to be prince, by ensuring his marriage to Jasmine. The best one, though, is that the merchant is actually the genie in disguise. This one is the best because it was confirmed, like totally confirmed, no fooling, in this deleted scene from the original movie.
Things are never quite what they seem. Are they?
There you have it, folks. 15 of the most believable theories Disney fans have bandied about over all these years. Want one more for free? Palpatine is actually Mickey Mouse after some bad surgery.